How can a game be so addictingly fun while simultaneously being so nerve-wrackingly annoying? There is definitely something about Overwatch that doesn't only split the community, but seemingly splits the players in themselves. One moment, Echo and I are going from, why the hell are we having so much fun in Overwatch after taking a very extensive break away from the game, to a rage-infused rant about how nobody's shooting the Reaper that is running at your main tank in a straight line. It seems like, for many of us anyway, whether or not we are having fun in Overwatch can change at a moment's notice. And naturally, there are more and less obvious things we can point out. But this is something that has really been stuck in my mind ever since I came back from my break. Can we explain the duality of Overwatch? Well, I'm certainly gonna try. But getting some of you guys to help would definitely be appreciated. So by all means, leave a comment down below telling us one thing in the game that is very distinctively fun to you. That can be anything from organizing scrims against other full teams to simply loving the feeling of playing a particular character. While I am going to lay out my findings to all of you, it will be cool to see how close, or not so close, I end up being relative to all of your answers. So without further ado, let's finally get stuck into this topic. I got 2 legendaries and an epic. What the f***, and it's all garbage. Nice.
This game is never good, even when it's good, it's bad.
In obvious fashion, let's kick things off talking about something that I'm sure is on a lot of people's minds. The hero design. A lot of characters in Overwatch have a very oddly skewed effort to reward ratio that many players are not happy about. One would argue that jiggle peeking a corner while spamming arrows down a hallway is very low risk, high reward for a Hanzo player, as opposed to a Tracer player who, even while losing just a little bit of HP to random poke damage, is already in trouble. Naturally, whether or not you are having fun on your particular hero depends on whether or not you are allowed to play said hero. An enemy choosing a direct counter can already be very annoying, but if your team also does not make any effort whatsoever in trying to cooperate with you, chances are that you're going to spend more time respawning than actually playing the game. And that, again, is one of the more obvious things creating this instantaneous dissatisfaction that I talked about earlier, where at first you're having a great time because you're uncontested and you can make use of your character's abilities to your heart's content, but then somebody decides to play Sombra and suddenly all that fun is gone. Doomfist can't play the video game? I killed him. That's another Doomfist. He can't play the video game. He can't, I repeat, he can't play the video game.
He's not playing it. He uninstalled.
Lucio can't play the video game? There we go.
He uninstalled. It's gone.
Junker's is about to not be able to play the video game anymore. Yep, he's dead. But I don't want to bore you too much with complaints we see on a daily when browsing the Overwatch forums, because one thing that I believe a lot of players completely disregard while playing is that, more often than not, your fun comes at the cost of someone else's fun. And that shows itself in more ways than concluding that every match needs a winning and a losing team. Hard counters, as we just described, is one of them. If a Doomfist player has been annoying the hell out of you, then seeing him helplessly flail around after being hacked is definitely a treat. There is a lot of satisfaction to be had in paying back what has been done to you. If I can't have fun playing my favorite hero, then neither can you. And given that heroes were designed asymmetrically, this is one of the many ways that Overwatch actually creates aggression and frustration. Because yes, it is easier to annoy a Reinhardt as Doomfist than annoying a Doomfist as Reinhardt. We all know that some heroes were made to trash all over certain other heroes. And even when the developers say that they prefer soft counters over hard counters, nobody really expects a Tracer to win against a Brigitte because of how much of an uphill battle that is. The advantages and disadvantages of any character in this game are always weighted against the power and the shortcomings of your enemy team. And that's why a very simple character switch can make you painfully aware of the duality of Overwatch, where you had a lot of fun at first, but now you're having a miserable experience. But that's not the only case in which it feels like fun cannot be made out of thin air, like some kind of terrible equation that demands taking fun away from others. Think about what happens when somebody has been bullied off of their favorite hero. That Reinhardt who previously was willing to cooperate might sacrifice team synergy in favor of individual enjoyment. Because yes, you can win a round of Overwatch in which your Reinhardt always dies first, but that probably does not make for a very fun experience if you were to ask that Reinhardt. And whether or not that situation comes down to individual fault or a lack of cooperation does not matter anymore. Because what really matters at the end is making sure that this enemy enemy Reaper is feeling just as miserable as your main tank. And if the only way to make that happen is by leaving your team without a shield in order to spawn camp the Reaper as Sombra, then many will choose to go down that path. This enemy DPS is taking your fun away, and by God, you are determined to take it back. But that rabbit hole goes further beyond, because even Smurf accounts work under that same fun equation logic. Players who feel robbed of their fun when playing on their main accounts for whatever reason, who are determined to do the same thing to others. But it's not always about rivalry among players, because very often it feels like the game itself is making it harder for you to get these fun moments that you crave so much. Imagine trying to play Overwatch with your lower ranked friends, just to be met with impossibly difficult matches, because that's how the game is attempting to balance the whole affair. How the hell are you supposed to have fun as a top 500 Ana player when you are constantly playing against Grandmaster DPS players whom your team cannot deal with? And the worst part about that is that the game does not even acknowledge that as a problem.
Yo, imagine how bad or how horrible you'd feel when you see 4 Smurf accounts walk into your platform.
I'm not a Smurf.
I'd be mad if
This is my skill level, Smile.
Yeah, Jeff said that Smurf accounts are not a problem. What are you talking about?
It's just my skill level, dude.
I'm not the problem, the game's the problem.
Yeah, the game is the problem. Yes, for some people, the only way to play with their friends is by getting alt accounts. But the fun they are having very often comes at a cost. Namely, the fun that the enemy team could have had were they to play against a full team of players who are all around their own skill level. And if there's one thing that the Overwatch community can agree on, it's the following. Who the hell are you to tell me how to have fun? Blizzard has taken that extreme to its logical next evolution and allows players to rank themselves very lowly simply by not trying very hard, while also having that high rank ace up their sleeve. You can be very certain that whoever is behind that Smurf account has a great time dicking around on Hammond just to then smash it to bits while playing Doomfist if they happen to feel like it. And just like turning on a light switch, the duality of Overwatch becomes very apparent. But the last piece I figured for myself was that fun and effective play is not one and the same.
I really can't do anything with that. Have fun. Holy shit, you're popping. Doesn't matter though. Nobody was
Yeah, unfortunate. And yeah, that kinda goes back to the point of sacrificing team compatibility for the sake of individual enjoyment, but that is largely a game design issue. You would assume that anything that feels good to do in a video game is somehow beneficial to your success, but that could not be further from the truth in Overwatch. Game designers are supposed to incentivize proper play and disincentivize ineffective play via a reward and punishment structure to push players towards how they intended the game to be played. So, where are the mechanics in Overwatch that incentivize team play? Where is the benefit to being cooperative, and where's the punishment for being selfish? Yes, it feels good to get a 3k. Yes, it feels good to get gold medals. And yes, it feels good to simply play a hero that you enjoy playing. But that doesn't mean that any of these things necessarily have any impact on your success. We literally C9'd off the point in order to go in a flank a la Metro, which was definitely really funny, but at the end of the day, we still lost that objective. And now think back to all the things you can do in this game that are incredibly fun without ever contributing to your team's success. Perhaps some of you guys even left comments earlier exclaiming things that you love doing, which in hindsight you might realize are very inherently selfish. And that's the duality of Overwatch. The way this game was designed, it is doing a very poor job of pushing you towards what is beneficial to your success in each of your matches respectively. A lot of flex players out there willingly sacrifice individual impact for the sake of team compatibility, but not because it's the most fun thing to do. They do it because they believe it improves their chance to win. But beyond that belief, or perhaps I should call it hope, there's nothing the game does that encourages more of us to act selfless, similar to players like that. Because quite frankly, it is more fun to be selfish in Overwatch. It's more fun to mess around with players who decided to run heroes that you hard counter. It's more fun to single-handedly destroy a team of diamonds than to try and push further into top 500. It's more fun to go and get that revenge you crave than to sacrifice your fun for the hope of another win.
No!
I got her.
Clips are toxic.
And as long as these things are more fun than achieving meaningless victories to push your SR further up without ever getting any conceivable improvement in match quality, the cycle will continue. It's even tough to argue that cooperating is the most effective way to play Overwatch because there's a hard limit to how much synergy a team of random individuals can display. And it often begs for sacrifices from individual players who might not be able to play a role or hero that they are really really good at. In which case, being selfish very often has a higher success rate. You are gonna have fun playing your favorite hero until you don't. You're gonna have fun cooperating with random teammates until you don't. And you're gonna have fun pushing SR on your main account until you don't. I think the reason that my friends and I are having such a good time playing Overwatch ever since our return is not necessarily because of all the hero changes. I mean, yeah, Baptiste turned out to be way more fun to play than I initially gave him credit for, but that's not where our best moments come from. We have fun messing with enemy players on our own rather than trying to cooperate with our team. We have fun doing stupid things rather than actually trying to win. And we enjoy the random nature of mystery heroes more than the bootleg competitiveness of any of the skill-based matchmaking supported game modes. Overwatch is really bad when it's bad, because not only the game, but also other players are actively taking your fun away. And it's really good when it's good, because you can do the same thing to them. Yeah, so that's kind of a sobering conclusion, I guess. I hope it brings sense into this whole narrative of Overwatch is not attracting toxicity more than it is creating it, because as they say, it really do be like that. I guess this duality should have been very obvious to me in light of the asymmetrical hero design that's based on hard counters, as well as a huge reliance on team play that, again, like flipping on a light switch, decides whether or not you are allowed to have fun. It was definitely kinda interesting to dive deep into trying to figure out why the hell I was having so much fun in Overwatch after my return. I guess it simply comes down to appreciating the polish and fun mechanics more after not having touched the game for a while, and also playing more selfishly than I previously have. And then people wonder where all that toxicity comes from in Overwatch. Anyway, I'ma call it a day, so thank you everybody so much for watching, and don't forget to leave your own opinions surrounding this topic down in the comment section below. You can find me in all the usual suspects like Twitter and Instagram, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I would very much appreciate if you did. Thanks again for watching everyone, and I hope to see you all next time.